Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay had a historic match at Forbidden Door. No, not because it was the greatest match of all time, but it was definitely one of the scariest. But since Omega and Ospreay had a match, no matter what, the Pavlovian Internet Wrestling Monolith was gonna laud this contest as the greatest match of all time. They could have bled all over each other from head to toe and come within an inch of paralysis time and again, all while the referee falls asleep at the wheel, and this still would have been lionized by hardcore wrestling fans. In fact, all of that is exactly what happened. Will Ospreay dumped Kenny Omega right on the back of his head with a brutal Tiger Driver 91. Some people are actually using Misawa as an example of why it was okay that Omega landed on his neck. You can't make this stuff up. See, look, Ospreay did it just like Misawa. Do I even need to say what's wrong with that point? Just Google Misawa yourself. Don't play with me today. Tony Schiavone had a great quote to summarize this match when he said, "We've seen faces covered in blood, but bodies?" My hat goes off to Ospreay and Omega's dedication to the craft and willingness to give a bloodthirsty fan base exactly what it wants and then some. But there's an old saying that we love on this app: if you listen to the fans too much, you'll be sitting with them. And if Ospreay and Omega continue taking all these wild risks, so what, a bunch of message boards reach their climax? Pretty soon, Ospreay and Omega will have no choice but to be sitting with the fans, because neither will be able to walk. All for a few imaginary stars from a 63-year-old man. Pro wrestling's inferiority complex at its best, ladies and gentlemen. There were even large sections of Twitter that were unsettled at the amount of violence this match needed in order to feel special. See, to me, most of these dangerous matches feel like an easy way out of doing a wrestling match. Don't get me wrong, they present a physical risk, but it's a creative cop-out. Any idiot can do a dangerous wrestling spot that legitimately puts himself in danger. The true art of pro wrestling is making it look and seem real. Once you start relying on blood and injury to tell your story, kind of starting to miss the point there, Haas. Back in April, I was all like, Will Ospreay is one of the best in the world according to subredditors. The man is a massive talent, and much of that's because he's about willing to kill himself to put on great matches that are taxing on his body. And I wasn't even talking about Forbidden Door. Remember, this wasn't even Will Ospreay's biggest match, and it almost certainly won't be the final match between Ospreay and Omega. That's probably going to happen at All In, where the stakes are higher, and they'll be in Will Ospreay's backyard of the United Kingdom. There's no risk Will Ospreay won't take in a situation like this, so this match is just a dark side of the ring waiting to happen. AEW's horrible officiating was also put on full display when Don Callis was kicked out of the match, only to return and loiter like he was selling Girl Scout cookies. Then the announce team scrambled to explain that Ospreay could have been disqualified, he wasn't, or that Don Callis might be fine, he won't be. But to the live crowd, Don Callis was simply ignoring a referee decision and getting away with it. Tell me, what hyper-complex, deep, introspective story was being told there? There was certainly storytelling in this match, for better or worse. Yes, there were callback spots, and Kenny Omega's relationship with Don Callis was weaved into the drama. But to me, as this match got more bloody, brutal, and quite honestly kind of pathetic in how dangerous they were willing to be to get the kind of pops the Bloodline gets with the promo, the biggest story is how many years they had to take off their career in order for this match to get over. This match was a brutal 40-minute bloodbath. I grew up with ECW and the Attitude Era. I just seen GCW in LA this month, and it was great. I love bloody and hardcore matches, but halfway through this thing, there were points where I was like, I'm not comfortable where this is going. Maybe we should start to slam this Forbidden Door shut. I can't call a match the greatest of all time if I want it to end halfway through, mainly to protect these athletes from themselves. And I'm not gonna blindly marinate myself over a match that I will never watch again. Match of the year. This wasn't even the match of the first half year. This wasn't even the best title match of the year. I liked Bianca and Io better than this match. I liked the WrestleMania Intercontinental title triple threat better than this match. This wasn't even the Canadian match of the year. Give me Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn over this match. This wasn't even Omega's best match of the year. I'll take Omega versus Vikingo 1 over Omega versus Ospreay 2. I'm one of those weirdos who likes his wrestling when it's fake. It's one thing to use the art form to work snug and make strikes and spots look more realistic, get it how you live, but once a match starts to look like the Jigsaw movies and motherfuckers start dumping each other on their heads, knowing what I know about the history of strong style wrestlers getting paralyzed in the ring, I want nothing to do with this. I refuse to celebrate when keeping it real goes wrong in pro wrestling. If Ospreay versus Omega's brand of near paralysis is a standard for great wrestling matches, then I must hate great wrestling matches because I will not be joining on the Omega Ospreay Marinade Parade. AEW is up to its balls and shows with AEW Dynamite featuring a major announcement from Tony Khan. Then, 2 days from Tony Khan's historic announcement of an AEW Constellation Tournament, it's AEW Rampage featuring music from the AEW C-Show band. Then, since AEW needs a whole new show to make sure certain egos don't collide, it's AEW Collision, followed by the subreddit spectacular of AEW Forbidden Door. Then, 200,000 fans will be packed in Wembley Stadium for AEW All In, followed by AEW All Out. 2 weeks later, it's AEW Inside Out from Daily's Place. Then, 2 weeks after another major Tony Khan announcement, Dave Meltzer's been hired as a new AEW head of creative. Thunder Rosa is back, but she refuses to work with Britt Baker. So, Tony Khan has given her own show, Thursday Night Thunder. Then, after Britt Baker complained about Thunder Rosa having her own show, Tony Khan has given Britt Baker her own show, so get ready for DMD Live, only on Brit Tuesdays. Then, after an anonymous referee demanded her own show, don't miss the premiere of Monday Night Dawn Stevens. Then, after one top star was in a bad mood after not having their own show, Tony Khan has capitulated, and the Khan family has bought another day in the week. So, this C-Day, get ready for AEW Explosion. There's currently more AEW shows and tickets sold, so go to AEWTix.com and see AEW Live. Check out this video of CM Punk's feud with the Young Bucks and subscribe. Did you think Ospreay and Omega was match of the year? Tell me in the comments.